This man puts flyers on people's doorknobs and comes back every 3 days to check them. As long as the flyer is still there, it means the family hasn't been back for a long time. So he took out a lock-picking tool. He poked the door open in a couple of tries, although he could easily go in and out of the mansion, but he never stole anything. He first listened to the phone messages to make sure the family was traveling. Then he chooses a favorite toothbrush. After a shower, he chooses comfortable pajamas, and then he'd make himself at home. Mike sees a toy gun and realizes it's broken. He glues it back together and pops 2 balloons. After that, Mike took a picture with his family. Then he watched a funny show and fell asleep on the couch. He cleaned up the floor and did the laundry for his hosts. After drying all the clothes, he looked through the family's photo albums. At that moment, there was a noise from downstairs. The owner, who had been away on a trip, came back. Mike didn't panic. He disappeared before they entered the house, because the trip hadn't been a good one. They'd just come home and there was an argument. The boy was out to cause trouble. He didn't know the gun had been fixed. Mike arrives at a mansion. There was the sound of a lock being unlocked. Pushing open the gates, there was a huge garden. He looked around the rooms. Then he went through the rooms one by one. He didn't notice a woman huddled behind the door. The woman's face was bruised. Strangely enough, she didn't make a sound, just quietly observing, peeking at everything Mike did. Mike saw the picture on the wall, still took out his cell phone and took a picture, then went to the kitchen to make some food, but he didn't realize everything he did was seen by the woman. He collected the dirty clothes. He scrubbed each piece vigorously. Even the man's shoes were cleaned. He enjoyed it as if he were taking care of his own family. Mike took the clothes to dry and watered the bonsai. Then he picked out a club and played a few rounds of golf. He wanted to weigh himself, but realized the scale was actually broken, so he did it again. Soon the scale was fixed. Mike ironed the hostess's photo album and looked at the photographs and wondered. At night he tossed and turned. Then the woman pushed open the door. The woman's face was calm. There was even a hint of delight. Then, as if she hadn't seen Mike, went to pick up the phone on his own. Mike had been spotted for the first time, but he didn't show a hint of panic. He picked up his things and prepared to leave, suddenly startled by the woman's shout. He stared at the woman defensively, but the woman didn't make the next move. Thinking of the bruises on the woman's face, Mike was a little worried. After some agonizing, he got on his motorcycle and returned to the mansion. When Mike came back, the woman was crying in the bathtub. He didn't go up to comfort her. Instead, he put on manual music. When the woman came out of the bathroom, Mike had her pajamas ready. A golf ball rolled to her feet. They used the roll of the ball, repeatedly testing each other's feelings. As she pushed the ball back, suddenly she was caught by a foot. This husband's career was not going well, taking all his grievances out on the woman. Mike picked up the golf club to get the man's attention. The man cursed but called the police, but Mike swung the club at him.